Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Our American Dream. The last video, actually the last couple videos, we talked about tapping maple trees for maple syrup and gathering the sap. This video, we're gonna go over cooking that sap down in the first part of the cooking process to make maple syrup. Hope you like the video. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to start our fire here. We're just taking a bucket, pouring sap into our preheater pans here. As you can see, these are on the back side of the stove, and they'll just sit here while we're boiling in the main pan, and they'll preheat, so when we get ready to put them in the main pan, they'll already be warm. There's not a fire going here yet, but I want to get plenty of sap into our main pan before I start the fire so the pan doesn't warp by getting too hot. Now this is a single pan. You can have divided pans that have a divider in here and it forces the sap to flow through it, but this particular pan, stainless steel, just an open pan. The stove was actually a wash basin, and it was like a parts cleaner wash basin, I think, and it was given to me by a friend of mine, and I decided to make a syrup stove out of it. And I also created a fire box on the inside of it. There's actually, if Mike gets the camera on the inside, you'll see that there's actually, it's lined with fire brick and a ash basin in the bottom to catch the extra ash. And it's 2 foot by 3 foot, and with a good hot fire, we can burn, or I should say boil off about 7 gallons an hour. And I'm gonna boil for I'll probably boil until 11 o'clock at night. So we just got a little propane torch here. See if we can get this wood started. Once we get this thing going, it should take off. We should be in good shape. All right guys, Mike's gonna show us the fire box right now. We got a pretty good fire going. Took us about 20 minutes. The wood was a little bit wet, but we got a pretty good fire going now. Pull open the door here. Got a pretty good fire going in there now. Just getting going. We should be in good shape. I'm gonna close that up, Mike. I'm gonna back up here. I got a box fan going, and while the door is closed, there's actually an area in the bottom of here that catches the ashes. It's an open grate from the firebox. See if I can see that in there. You can see that open grate. And I'm blowing air in there just to give a little bit of extra oxygen to our fire. All right guys, here we are a few minutes later. Fire's going really good. Not quite boiling yet, but we got good steam. So I'm gonna show you guys what's going on. All right, one last video for tonight before I put the camera away. You guys can see we got a nice solid boil here. Most of the heat's in that one spot, but in the next few minutes we'll have a good boil across the entire pan here, and then we'll really start going. Now I said earlier I can boil off about 7 gallons per hour on this stove, and part of the reason for that is you guys see the fan set up here. I put 2 box fans and I use them to get rid of the steam faster, and what I found is I can go from about 5 gallons an hour to 7 gallons an hour just by putting those fans there and getting rid of the steam in a faster way. So we're gonna get cracking here. Okay guys, here it is Saturday. But we're getting ready to get syrup going here again. I wanted to show you guys the overall setup here. You seen me in the last video, or 2 videos ago, set this stove up, and I wanted to show you how I do this. I set the stove up right in the doorway of the barn, and I actually turn the stack out so that I can, you know, kind of have this thing set up where the smoke's gonna leave the building right through that stack right there. But I wanted to show you before this starts boiling again. But if you look down in here, right here is one example of sugar sand. There's a little bit of minerals that come out of this sap when you boil it down, and on the far end over there, there's quite a bit starting to kind of pile up here. So we filter this out, and I'll show you that when we get ready to empty the pan. But I wanted to show you guys before this starts boiling again what it looks like. One of these barrels is emptied out. It's either been boiled out or it's in the pan right now, and the other barrel's still full. This barrel here is still full, so quite a bit of work to do. We'll keep going. Alright guys, we're in the middle of boiling right here, but I wanted to tell you a few things. You can see behind me, actually I'll turn the camera. You can see behind me, what I like to do is grab a load of wood on the RTV and just pull it in here in the barn. That way, if it rains outside, whatever happens, we got decently dry wood. I bring it in here, and you can see I got a stack on the ground here too. What I like to do is split this wood even more than normal, so that the pieces are about the size of your forearm. And what I find is they burn hotter and faster that way. And I put 4 to 5 pieces in at a time, as you can see Marcus did in that last segment. All right guys, this first batch of 110 gallons of sap is almost cooked down. I want to show you what it looks like. You can see the bubbles are starting to get nice and small. And what I've done here is I took the calculator on my phone. I know my pan is 24 inches by 36 inches. I know I had 110 gallons of sap, and it's about 40 to 1 usually, 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. And early on in the season, usually the first batch, it may actually be closer to 35 to 1. So I took 35 to 1, did the math, divided that into 110, and that should yield a little over 3 gallons of little over 3 gallons of syrup. So then I do a conversion of cubic inches. I round it up to 4 gallons so I don't burn it, but then 4 gallons to cubic inches. Basically it tells me I need to boil this down to where there's about 1 inch of material left in the pan. So I take my spoon and I dip this spoon in here, and I look at the level and I measure that. Right now it's about 1.75 inches. So I've got just a little bit more boiling to do. This is tasting really good right now. Starting to get nice and sweet. And in just a few minutes we'll be taking this off. I've got a stock pot set up here at my drain vent. What I'll do is I'll prop up each corner of the table so that it draws all the material down to this one corner. We'll run it through a cheesecloth into here, and then we finish inside the house on the stove where we have a little more control. All right guys, so Mike's running the camera now. We've got to the point where we're going to take this off now. And if you look at our stove, basically we prop up the back side and the back end, and we allow this to run all of our material towards this corner right here. And we go ahead and filter it into one of these pails. It's got the cheesecloth on it. And when that gets full up, what we'll do is switch it out with this one. And like I said, we run it through the cheesecloth. I'm just going to monitor what's in here. There should be a little over 4 gallons in the pan right now. And running it through the cheesecloth, any little bits of bark or anything that are coming off, they'll get caught in here. And there's another filtering process at the end. But Mike's gonna put the camera down. We're gonna switch these pails out, and then our next one will be finishing it. Okay, we're in the house now. Brought that syrup out of the other stove, the wood stove. Brought it in the house here in a stock pot. It's been filtered once through just the cheesecloth, and now we're just going to finish it on the stove. More control in here is the reason. I can turn this flame down, I can turn it off quickly. Out there I can't really turn the fire off. I would have to remove the pan from the stove, and that can be dangerous and tricky and difficult. So we finished on the stove. That batch of 110 gallons is going to give me probably just shy of 3 gallons of maple syrup. But I want to show you right here, we're going to cook this until it reaches 7 degrees above the boiling temperature of water. Boiling temperature of water being 212 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're going to go to 219 degrees Fahrenheit. And as soon as we hit that, we'll turn it off. If you like these videos, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll keep them coming. Thanks for watching.